wasn't going to win an Oscar, and I'm going to make this movie because nobody else wanted to make the movie in town. It was too dark. And I said, well, what difference does it make? I'm not going to win an Oscar anyway, so let's do Leaving Las Vegas. And the reason why that script was so important to me was that I thought it was a really beautiful, cool love story between two wounded people. And it was just so poetic when I read it, and it's one of the 5 scripts: Vampire's Kiss, Leaving Las Vegas, Raising Arizona, Adaptation, and Dream Scenario are my 5 favorite scripts I've ever read in 45 years of doing this. And that one, I knew right away that I could tell that story, and I cared about both those people. Elizabeth was beautiful, and Megan had seen the movie, and I just felt for them.
Usually when you win an Oscar, people call you to congratulate you. What was something that resonated with you, someone who called you and said something that you never forget?
Well, the funniest thing was I got a telegram from my uncle.
Francis Ford.
And he said, oh, congratulations, Nikki, from Francis Cage, Eleanor Cage, Roman Cage, and all the rest of us Cage. Which was pretty clever, I thought. Kind of cute.
Yeah, and a telegram as well, how vintage.
The telegram, yeah, very old school.
I was
We don't send telegrams anymore.
It's a shame.
Texting.
I know.
We usually get telegrams from Western Union.
Demanding money.
Get it back. I tried, it doesn't exist. I tried to get one, you can't do it.
Or handwritten. I like the poetry of anything handwritten.
I agree with you 100%. Nobody answers the phone anymore.
Yes, they send you a voice.
It's all text. So what are you doing with all those texts? Where are they all going? Are you making a documentary about me?
Because you spoke about stretching the acting exercise, I want to speak about voice acting. I interviewed you for The Croods a few years ago. Anne Bully, The Spider-Verse. I mean, I've done some of it, and I think it's great voice acting because it really allows you to express yourself in many ways. How much do you enjoy that, and how much do you seek those types of roles? Croods 2.
I love it. I just love it. I like being in the little aquarium that is the studio where there's a microphone and you're in a box. Your biggest tool as an actor is your imagination. And believe me, that none of the other actors are there, none of the location isn't there, and it's all about really using your imagination to make it feel real to you. And so for me, I think, and I would recommend it to fellow actors, it's a great way to stay in shape. Just keep doing it, use your imagination, and I like making movies like that in between my feature films.
Yes. And I guess now is a good time to ask, what would you advise a young actor trying to, make their mark in acting the way you did?
I would first and foremost tell them to adopt the mantra, it can happen.
And continue, like it
and
can happen.
don't listen to it can't. And don't let anyone tell you no. Well, I heard no a lot in high school. I think I'm going to be a movie star. No, you're not. And don't listen to that. Just it can happen. That's the first thing. And stay true to your dreams, and look for folks that you can work with, that you're going to enjoy your time with them, and also where you're going to be. That's what Mark Sheen taught me. The most important thing of all is, did you like where you were, and did you like the people you were working with?
That's very true.
Yes.
Do you see yourself more as an actor or a movie star?
Well, I don't know what I am anymore. I'm,
Most often, you're both.
I'm predominantly an actor. That's the way. Well, thank you, thanks guys. Thank you. I'm someone who's interested in screen performance. I'm an actor. That's what I am.
Let's talk about National Treasure. And yes, okay, you love that. Knowing City of Angel, it could happen to you. I mean, these movies were such an eclectic genre. It was so different from one to the other. The experience, the project, the role. How much did you enjoy each one of them as a...
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Keep it, the student, keep it eclectic, keep pushing yourself to learn. Do not get comfortable. I learned that from, believe it or not, David Bowie. I met David, and we were in Montreal, he was performing, and I was at one time going to play the Superman character. To me, David was like the Superman, and I wanted him to write a song for Superman. And I said, David, how did you do it? I mean, how did you keep reinventing yourself? And he said, I never got comfortable with anything I was doing. And those were words of wisdom to me. You know, just go. The thing that you might be afraid of, within reason, as long as you're not hurting yourself and someone else, is the very thing you should move towards, because you might learn something.
What do you learn from National Treasure in terms of, you know, big action adventure? But I love those movies. They're, you know, they're for the pure entertainment, and I think that is so valid.
Well, for me, what that was about was how to make the really kind of ridiculous believable. You know, if you go into a room and you say, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence, how do you make that work? You know, it's so absurd. But for me, it was like, find what it is about the character that can convey the gravitas and the reverence that this character, Benjamin Gates, has for history. And when he says that line, it was all about how can I sell it? How can I make it seem like he genuinely means it without looking completely absurd?
Was there a point where you were like, I don't want to do another Rock, I don't want to do another Con Air, they're offering me the same roles, I have to shift it myself?
I think so. I mean, I think if you look carefully at the filmography, I was always hopscotching around. After National Treasure, I did Bringing Out the Dead with Scorsese, which I think is one of my favorite movies. City of Angels, so it was always a matter of trying to stay interested and try different genres.
And the gut feeling always told you, this is it, this is where I want to go?
Well, I always had a pretty good team around me that would give me their opinions about, you really should do this, I think this is a good group of people. But it was about staying interested. You know, the older you get, the more you have to find ways to stay interested. And the way I did that was hopscotching and switching up the genres and switching up the style of the acting and trying new sounds, new body language, new looks. You know, I've got a movie coming out, I think in spring next year, called Long Legs. And I'm here to tell you, I think I'm kind of like a nightmare come to life in that movie.
It's the sequel of Dream Scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nothing, I don't look anything like me, and I don't sound anything like me, and I'm pretty happy with that one too.
I look forward to seeing it. Is there a genre you wanted to do more of, or a genre that you feel, you know, that you enjoy doing the most?
My roots are independently spirited dramas. That's my favorite genre. That's where I came from, that's where I always go back. That is my well, that is my source. And movies like Joe, movies like Pig are examples of that.
And Dream Scenario, which we will talk extensively about, that actually is now the surprise film of Saturday here at the film festival.
Very
so
happy
everybody
to
can
do
go
that.
see it.
I hope you go. I really hope you go.
At some point you started consistently producing a lot of the projects that you started. How important was that in maintaining your creative freedom?
Well, so the producing for me is really kind of like inviting guests to a dinner party. I want to see what that person's like when they're talking to that person. And so a good example of that was a movie I produced called Shadow of the Vampire. I got to put two of my favorite actors together, Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich. Originally they wanted me to play the vampire in that, but I wanted Willem right away. And I was so happy with those results. So producing is like that. It's about having a chance to get creative people together in a room and spending time with them. It's a lot of fun.
when it's great actors that you star alongside, do you feel it elevates the acting exercise, and how much do you enjoy that, the John Malkovich and the Willem Dafoes of this time?
It's immense. You always want to surround yourself with people who are, you never want to be intimidated by somebody else's talent. You want to get something from that talent, have them bring you to a higher level. You want to foster everyone's creativity, and it only makes you a better actor if you're working with a great actor.
Yeah, it's like a great game of sports.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Let's talk about your curiosity about non-Hollywood films. I mean, you're one of the first Hollywood movie stars to have gone to several parts of the world for films and who have been curious about all sorts of cinemas. How important is that for you?
It's important to me because I grew up on a steady diet of movies from all over the world, Japan, Italy. My father made sure of that. But it's also important to me to go to different parts of the world to make movies. I'm a big believer in what I call the genus loci, which is the genie of a place. You can really feel an energy. I'd like to make a movie here.
Yes,
you know? There would be some sort of harmonic energy convergence, and it would bring a great character out of me. You know, so anytime you go to another location and make a movie, you're going to get something from that. The location becomes a character in itself, both in terms of its energy and the way it looks.
I want to speak about the unbearable weight of massive talent. I was interviewing Brad Pitt for one of his films, and then I sat down and he told me, "Have you seen Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? It's my favorite film." Are you aware that he's such a fan?
I'm not, but that's nice to hear. I'm certainly a fan of his, so that would be great for us to do something.
Yeah, I think that would be absolutely amazing.
Sure, yeah, he's great.
Let's talk about the experience of this film and how, you know, crazy in a great way it was to play yourself in different
well,
calibers.
My agent is in the room, and he knows that I must have turned that down 5 or 6 times. There was no muscle in my body that told me to play a character whose name is Nick Cage. And that was the most high-wire act I've ever had to do. I was so worried it would be like a Andy Samberg SNL sketch, and but what happened was Tom Gormican, the director, met with me, and I could tell in the meeting, we've been in an old restaurant in downtown LA, and he said, well, I want this movie to have heart, and he seemed like a genuine enthusiast of the filmography. And so I knew then that he had more in mind than just some sort of slapstick comedy, like sending me up. I think he wanted to give the characters some heart and some pathos. That relaxed me.
Did you have a strategy about how you wanted to play Nick Cage in various elements?
Well, I was very happy that the younger version of me, Nicky, was in the movie. That was the part that I had the most fun with. The guy that was in the clip going,
yes, yeah.
That guy was hilarious to me, and I was excited about playing him. But the strategy, no, I think it was, again, it was a matter of playing the scenes authentically and really care. Like I approached it much in the same way I did any other movie, except that I would remind. It got a little surreal because people were calling me Nick Cage on the set and the camera was rolling, and I was like, wait a minute, this is really trippy. Wait a minute, am I doing this? Is this what's going on? And that was different. It was definitely unlike any other experience I've ever had making a movie. I wouldn't want to do it again, but I'm glad I tried. The student, you know.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. Take this box, don't do the sequel.
We're not doing any sequels, no more.
And trippy is a good way to
It
describe
is.
this film.
It was very bizarre. Very
absolutely.
bizarre.
Were you pleasantly surprised of the worldwide great reception of it?
I was happy. You know, a lot of thought went into it even after, you know, the studio had ideas which way the movie should go. Tom, the director, had ideas, and at some point I had to get in the middle and get on the phone with everybody and say, part of what you got to put Tom's flavor back in the movie, and Tom, that scene doesn't work. The studio's right, but we got there. We all of us got there together.
So the producer head, basically.
Producer head had to shut off the actor head and really look at this in a kind of universal way, and hopefully we, managed to get it, everyone was happy with the final result.